Welcome back to Mr. Bedtime Reader. Close your eyes, relax your breathing, and tonight, we're going to step into the world of startups. Most startups fail. Not because the founders aren't smart. Not because the idea isn't exciting. But because they run out of time, money, and direction before finding what truly works. But what if there was a way to beat the odds? A way to test your ideas quickly, spend less, learn faster, and discover what your customers really want before it's too late. That's what The Lean Startup by Eric Ries is all about. It's not just a book, it's a survival guide for anyone who dares to build something new. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, I'll tell you how to launch smarter, adapt faster, and turn uncertainty into opportunity, so you can dream of success with your eyes closed. Now we start with Chapter 1, The Startup Journey Begins. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a quiet harbor just before dawn. The air is still, the sky is painted in soft shades of blue and gold. In front of you is a small sailboat, your startup. It's fragile, untested, and the open ocean beyond is full of uncertainty. Most people see that ocean and never leave the shore. But you feel something calling you. This is exactly where Eric Ries found himself, not literally on a boat but with his first company. He had a vision, a product idea, and a team ready to work day and night. They poured months into building the perfect thing, every detail polished, every feature added. And when they finally launched, silence. The customers didn't come. It wasn't because the product was bad, it was because they had built something people didn't actually want. That's when Eric learned a truth that changes everything. A startup isn't just about building a product, it's about learning what works before you run out of time and money. The new way: build, measure, learn. In The Lean Startup, Eric introduces a different approach. Build a simple, basic version of your idea, what he calls a minimum viable product (MVP). Measure how people actually use it. Learn what to change or improve before going further. Think of it like cooking a new recipe. You don't buy every ingredient in the store, cook a huge feast, and then find out if anyone likes it. Instead, you start with a small taste test. If your friends say it's too salty, you adjust. If they love it, you keep going. The tale of two founders. Let me tell you about Sarah and Ben. Sarah had a brilliant app idea for travelers. She spent 2 years perfecting it before launch. By the time it hit the market, her money was gone and her app didn't match what travelers truly needed. Ben, on the other hand, launched a rough, simple version in 2 months. He let real travelers test it, saw where they struggled, and made quick adjustments. Within a year, his app was growing rapidly because it evolved with the users. Both had the same dream. Only one survived the journey. Why this matters? In the old way, building a business was like setting sail without a compass. Hopping the wind carried you somewhere good. In the Lean Startup way, you have a compass, a map, and you check the stars every night to adjust your course. It's not about avoiding mistakes, it's about making them early, cheaply, and learning fast enough to keep going. So tonight, as you drift towards sleep, imagine yourself at the harbor again. Your boat is ready. The ocean still waits. But now you have a way to navigate. Entering in Chapter 2, testing your dream before it sinks. Picture this. You've just set sail from that quiet harbor we visited in Chapter 1. The sun is rising behind you, the horizon stretching endlessly ahead. Your boat, your startup, feels strong, but you know the sea can change in an instant. The old sailors have a saying, test the ship before the storm. In the business world, Eric Ries teaches something similar. Test your idea before the market tests it for you. The lighthouse of feedback. Most founders build in the dark. They polish every plank, tighten every sail, and only when the ship looks perfect do they let it touch the water. But by then, if there's a hole in the hull, it's too late. Instead, Eric says, launch a small voyage first. Not across the whole ocean, just to a nearby lighthouse. That short trip is your experiment. The story of the coffee shop without a shop. Let me tell you about Mia. She dreamed of opening a cozy coffee shop with live music every Friday. Most people in her shoes would rent a building, buy all the equipment, hire staff, and then see if customers showed up. But Mia tried the Lean Startup way. She rented a tiny stall at the weekend market, just a table, a coffee machine, and a tip jar. She chatted with every customer, asked what flavors they loved, and tested her Friday music nights in a small park nearby. In 3 months, she knew exactly which drinks people craved, what time they came, and how much they'd pay. When she finally opened her real cafe, it was packed from day one because she had tested her dream before committing everything. Minimum Viable Product (MVP). Eric calls this test version your minimum viable product. It's the smallest, simplest thing you can build to check if your idea works in the real world. For Mia, it was a market stall. For a tech founder, it might be a basic app with one key feature. For a writer, it could be sharing a short sample instead of a whole book. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to learn fast enough to avoid disaster. Why this matters? A dream that's never tested is like a ship that's never sailed. It looks beautiful, but you never know if it can survive the waves. When you test early, you're not guessing anymore. You're steering with real information. You're adjusting your sails before the storm hits. So as you drift into deeper rest, imagine that lighthouse ahead. It's closer than you think. And with every small test, you're one step nearer to the journey of your dreams. In Chapter 3, we know the power of pivoting. The night sky stretches above your little startup ship. You've set sail, tested the waters, and found the lighthouse. But now the wind changes. You notice the current pulling you sideways. The compass is still in your hand, but the map, the one you drew before leaving, no longer matches the stars. This is the moment Eric Ries calls the pivot. When the old map fails. In business, a pivot is not failure. It's a graceful turn, a way of saying, this path isn't leading where I hoped, but another one might. Think of it like hiking. You're halfway up a trail when you see a storm ahead. Do you stubbornly push forward? Or do you take the side path that might lead you to the same mountain, just from a safer route? The smartest founders pivot before the storm swallows them. The tale of the dinner app that became a billion-dollar idea. There's a true story I love. Two friends built an app to help people find dinner parties in their city. It was clever, but no one used it. While watching their tiny user base, they noticed something strange. A small group of designers kept signing up not for the dinner parties, but because the app let them share photos easily. That little detail became their compass. They pivoted, dropping the dinner party idea completely. The photo sharing feature became their whole product. That app, you know it today as Instagram. The courage to change course. A pivot isn't a panic move, it's a decision made from learning. You test, you measure, you listen. And when the numbers whisper this isn't working, you ask, what have we learned that could work? Mia, our coffee shop friend, had her own pivot. At first, she thought Fridays would be her biggest nights for live music. But her little market stall revealed something surprising. Wednesday afternoons brought the largest crowds, parents grabbing coffee after school pickup. So she pivoted, making Wednesdays her feature day. Her income doubled in a month. Why pivoting matters. Sticking to a bad route doesn't make you brave. It makes you think. A pivot done wisely is how you survive the storms and still reach your destination. Sometimes the treasure you're chasing is real, it's just buried in a different place than you first imagined. So as the waves rock you gently towards sleep, remember. The journey isn't always straight. But with courage to pivot, you can still find your way to a golden shore. Chapter 4 is all about build, measure, learn. Picture yourself standing in a small, sunlit workshop. On the table in front of you is your dream, not the finished version, but the very first shape of it. A model, a sketch. Something you can touch, even if it's still rough. This is the heart of the lean startup. Build, measure, learn. It's not just a process, it's a rhythm. A heartbeat for your business. The first step, build. Think of building not as making the perfect thing, but as making the first thing that can teach you something. Eric Ries calls this the MVP, the minimum viable product. It's the smallest, simplest version of your idea that can still be tested. Mia, our coffee shop dreamer, didn't start with a full cafe. She started with a small table at the farmer's market. No fancy espresso machine, no custom cups. Just her special brew in a big thermos, a smile, and a hand-painted sign. The second step, measure. Once you have something out in the world, you watch. You listen. You collect data, not guesses. At the market, Mia counted how many cups she sold in an hour. She asked people what they liked best. She noticed the busiest times and the favorite flavors. Measurement is how you turn feelings into facts. The third step, learn. This is where the magic happens. You take what you've seen and you decide. Do I keep going the same way? Do I make small changes? Or do I pivot completely? When Mia saw that iced coffee outsold hot coffee in summer, she didn't fight it. She leaned in, adding more iced flavors and even selling cold brew bottles for people to take home. Her sales grew without spending more hours at the stall. Why the cycle never ends. Build, measure, learn. Then build again. Measure again. Learn again. It's like breathing for your business. Each cycle makes your idea sharper, your decisions faster, and your results stronger. And just like the tide that comes in and goes out, the cycle never stops. So as you rest tonight, imagine holding that simple first version of your dream in your hands. You don't have to make it perfect. You just have to start. Because with each cycle, build, measure, learn, you get closer to building something that truly lasts. Well, in Chapter 5, we know about the innovation accounting. Imagine you're on a quiet country road at night. Your car's headlights only shine a short distance ahead, but you keep moving because you trust the road is there. That's what running a startup feels like. You can't see the whole journey, only the next few steps. And that's why you need a way to measure progress, even when the destination is still far away. Eric Ries calls this innovation accounting, a way to keep score when the normal rules don't apply. Step 1. Establish a baseline. Before you can improve, you have to know where you are. Think of Alex, who started an app for connecting local musicians. At first, only 50 people downloaded it. That's not much, but it's a starting point. It's the baseline. This number, however small, is your first candle in the dark. Step 2. Tune the engine. Once you have your baseline, the goal is to improve it, little by little, experiment by experiment. Alex tried changing the app's sign-up page. He added a short video showing musicians jamming together. The next week, downloads jumped from 50 to 120. Small improvement. Big signal. That's innovation accounting at work, not chasing vanity metrics, but tracking real changes caused by deliberate actions. Step 3. Pivot or persevere. Eventually, the numbers tell a story. Either you're moving toward your goal or you're not. When Alex saw his engagement numbers drop after adding too many features, he cut them back. He chose to persevere with the core idea, but without the noise. If the numbers had stayed flat for months, he might have pivoted to a different concept entirely. Why it matters? Without innovation accounting, you're just guessing in the dark. With it, every experiment becomes a step toward something better. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about knowing, truly knowing, whether your idea is growing stronger or weaker. So as you drift towards sleep tonight, imagine holding a small lantern on that dark road. You may not see the whole path, but you'll always know if you're moving forward. In Chapter 6, we learn about leap. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a calm lake at dawn. The mist hovers low, the water is still. And just across the water lies the island you've always dreamed of reaching. But there's no bridge. No boat. Only the choice to leap into the unknown. That's what the early days of a startup feel like, a leap of faith. Faith versus facts. Every business idea starts with a belief that the world will want what you're creating. But beliefs alone aren't enough. Think of Maya, who wanted to build an eco-friendly clothing brand. She believed customers would pay more for sustainable fashion. Her friends loved the idea. But Eric Ries reminds us, friends are not customers and opinions are not proof. The leap of hypothesis. Before you invest years of your life, you need to identify your leap of faith assumptions, the things that must be true for your business to succeed. For Maya, her two big leaps were: people will pay more for eco-friendly clothing. They'll buy it online without touching it first. Those are huge risks, and the sooner she tested them, the sooner she'd know if she was swimming toward the island or just treading water. Testing the unknown. Maya didn't launch a full store. Instead, she set up a small online shop with just 5 designs. She ran ads to see if strangers, not just friends, would click, browse, and buy. Within 2 weeks, she had her answer. Yes, people would pay more, but only if they clearly understood the why behind the product. That small test gave her confidence to keep swimming toward her dream island. Why it matters. Every leap in business is scary. But when you combine courage with quick testing, you turn a blind leap into a calculated step. So tonight, as you drift deeper into rest, think about the leaps in your own life. Not every leap is reckless. Some are simply the start of a journey you were meant to take. So now we entered in chapter 7, which is test. Imagine you're standing in a quiet garden at dusk. The air is cool, the light is soft, and in front of you is a small seed in your hand. You don't know if it will grow into a strong tree, a fragile flower, or nothing at all. The only way to find out is to plant it. To test it. That's exactly what Eric Ries means when he talks about testing in a startup, turning ideas into small, real-world experiments. From vision to experiment. Every founder has a vision. But visions live in the clouds and businesses are built on the ground. Think of David, who dreamed of creating an app to connect travelers with local guides. It was a beautiful vision, but before building an entire platform, he asked, "How can I test this idea with the least effort, the least cost, and the least risk?" The MVP in action. David's test was simple. He made a basic landing page describing the service with a Book Now button. When visitors clicked, instead of booking, they saw a message. "We're coming soon, leave your email." This was his MVP, minimum viable product. It wasn't the full service. It was just enough to measure interest. In 1 week, he had 800 emails from people wanting the service. That was the seed sprouting. Why small tests work. Testing isn't about proving you're right. It's about discovering the truth quickly and cheaply. Small tests save time. They save money. And they save you from planting in dry soil when you could be planting in fertile ground. The gentle power of testing. David didn't need to gamble years of his life. Just a week, a small page, and a clear question. And from that, he knew this seed had life. As you sink deeper into sleep tonight, remember. Not every idea needs to be built in full before it's tested. Sometimes the smallest steps reveal the biggest truths. Now chapter 8 is all about measure. Picture a sailor at sea under a velvet night sky. The stars twinkle above, the waves move below. But without a compass, the sailor doesn't know if he's heading home or drifting further away. In business, measurement is that compass. It tells you if you're getting closer to your dream or quietly steering off course. Vanity versus reality. Eric Ries warns about vanity metrics, numbers that make you feel good but don't guide you forward. Think of a bakery that celebrates 10,000 Instagram followers. But their daily sales haven't changed. The applause is loud, but the cash register is quiet. Real measurement is about actionable metrics, numbers that help you make better decisions. The tale of Lisa's coffee cart. Lisa had a small coffee cart in the city park. She wanted to grow, so she started tracking how many cups she sold per day. At first, the numbers went up and she felt proud. But then she asked a deeper question. Are these new customers or the same ones buying more? When she measured return visits, she saw the truth. She wasn't attracting more people, just giving discounts to the same regulars. That simple insight changed her strategy. She started offering a free muffin with the first coffee purchase for new customers, and her real growth began. Why it matters. In startups and in life, the wrong measurements can keep you busy but blind. The right ones act like the North Star, quietly guiding you in the dark. So as your eyes grow heavy tonight, remember. What you measure shapes what you do. And sometimes, the smallest, truest numbers can point you exactly where you need to go. So the next chapter 9 is pivot or persevere. Imagine walking along a forest path at twilight. You've been walking for hours following the trail. But now the path splits in two. One way is familiar but seems to lead nowhere. The other is unknown, mysterious, yet full of possibility. This moment, choosing which way to go, is what Eric Ries calls the decision to pivot or persevere. The dance of decisions. Every business faces this point. You've tested your idea, measured your results. Now you must ask, are we on the right track? Or is it time to change direction before we waste more time, energy, and resources? The story of Bright Lens. Brightlens was a startup making high-end sunglasses for mountain climbers. Their marketing worked, but sales were slow. When they measured, they discovered something surprising. Most buyers weren't mountain climbers at all. They were urban commuters, people riding bikes to work, wanting stylish, durable sunglasses. So Brightlens pivoted. They redesigned for city life, adjusted their branding, and their sales soared. Pivot doesn't mean failure. Changing direction isn't giving up. It's like a sailor adjusting sails to catch the wind. The destination may be the same, but the route changes to get there faster. Persevering, on the other hand, is for those moments when your data and customer feedback confirm you're heading in the right direction. That's when you keep going, even if it's tough. As you drift toward sleep, remember, life is full of crossroads. Sometimes the bravest choice is to turn. Sometimes the bravest choice is to keep going. The wisdom is knowing which is which. Here is Chapter 10, Build, Measure, Learn. Imagine planting a seed in a quiet garden. You water it. You watch it. And you wait. If it grows well, you know your care was right. If it doesn't, you adjust: more sunlight, different soil, gentler watering. This simple loop of trying, checking, and adjusting is the heart of Build, Measure, Learn. The endless loop of progress. Eric Ries describes it like this: build, create something small and simple, your MVP. Measure, gather real data about how it's used and what people think. Learn, decide whether to pivot or persevere based on what you've learned. And then you go through the loop again. The tale of Tom's fitness app. Tom dreamed of creating a fitness app that used AI to customize workouts. Instead of building the whole thing, he started with a simple chatbot that texted daily workout tips. He built it in a week. He measured how many people actually used it daily. He learned that most people preferred quick, 5-minute workouts over full routines. So he pivoted, focusing his entire app on short, effective workouts. The result: tens of thousands of happy users. Why it matters. In business and in life, the fastest way to grow is to test small, learn quickly, and adjust. It keeps you from wasting years chasing the wrong dream, and helps you shape your vision into something that truly works. So as your breathing slows and your eyes grow heavy, remember, life isn't about getting it perfect the first time. It's about building, measuring, and learning, until the dream in your heart becomes real. Chapter 11 is about innovation accounting. Picture this. You're building a tiny wooden boat. You push it onto the water and watch it drift away. Will it float far? Will it sink? To know, you need more than just hope. You need measurement. That's what innovation accounting is all about. It's how a startup measures progress when the usual yardsticks, profit, revenue, market share, are still too far away to see. The 3 steps of innovation accounting. Establish the baseline, find out where you are right now. Tune the engine, make changes to improve your results. Decide to pivot or persevere, choose your next move based on real data. The story of Luna's language app. Luna dreamed of helping people learn Spanish in just 10 minutes a day. Her first version had fancy animations and lessons, but hardly anyone finished them. She measured and discovered the baseline. Only 20% of users came back the next day. So she tuned the engine: shorter lessons, daily streak rewards, and voice practice. Her retention jumped to 45%. With that, she knew she was on the right track, and she persevered. Why it works? Innovation accounting strips away the guesswork. It replaces "I think we're doing well" with "I know we're improving." It keeps you honest, grounded, and moving forward step by step. So as you drift deeper into rest, remember, even the smallest progress counts. Measure it, cherish it, and let it guide you toward your dream. Now the final chapter 12, which is epilogue, waste not. Imagine standing in a workshop filled with half-finished projects. A robot arm that never quite worked. A beautiful sculpture missing its final touch. A stack of ideas left untouched in dusty notebooks. This is what happens when innovation dies in silence. When people stop testing, stop learning, and stop adapting. Eric Ries ends the lean startup with a simple but powerful truth. The greatest waste in the world is untapped human potential. A tale of the missed invention. Long ago, there was a young engineer who dreamed of creating a car that could run entirely on clean energy from the sun. He had sketches, prototypes, and a heart full of hope. But he waited. Waited for the perfect moment, the right team, and enough funding. Years passed. Someone else, somewhere else took the risk, built a small version, learned from it, and made it real. The young engineer. He still had his dream, but the world never saw it. Why the epilogue matters. The lean startup is not just a business method, it's a call to action. It asks you to take what's inside your mind and bring it into the world today. Even if it's small, even if it's imperfect. Because every moment you wait, the world waits with you. And now, as you prepare to drift into sleep, think of your own unfinished dreams. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to begin. The sooner you start, the sooner they can grow into something beautiful. You've just journeyed through the lessons of the lean startup. We've walked alongside dreamers, inventors, and builders. We've seen how small steps lead to big change. How testing, learning, and adapting can turn fragile ideas into powerful realities. And now, as your eyes grow heavy, I want you to remember something. Your dream, that little spark in your mind, is waiting. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be ready for the whole world. It just has to begin. Tonight, let your heart hold on to that vision. Let your mind rest in the comfort that tomorrow you can take the first step. Because the world doesn't just need more businesses. It needs more dreamers who dare to try. So sleep well, my friend. You are safe here. You are heard. And when you wake, the next chapter of your journey will be waiting. Good night. And may your dreams build the future you've always imagined. Always remember, I am with you, buddies.